In today's episode, at the limit of strength and abilities, on how Border Guard Special Troop competitions took place in Cherkasy. Solomon receives welcomes. A 4-month-old baby became the 2 millionth passenger at the Lviv Airport. Fast and reliable, modern crossovers will help to curb criminal schemes at the border. Extreme conditions are nothing out of the ordinary for these men. They are special border guard troops after all. They're places where one won't manage without proper training. The Rapid Response Squad tournament was held for 5 days on the base of the Major General Ihor Moma Training Center for Junior Specialists. A total of 18 teams competed for the title of the Best Rapid Response Team. They dedicated these competitions to the memory of their brother-in-arms Vasil Polyakov. The serviceman of the 10th Separate Dozor Detachment was killed on July 11, 2014, during the heroic defense of the Dovzhansky checkpoint on the border with Russia. Every year, the parents of the heroic border guard are always present at the tournament. There are 8 stages in the competition program. Physical training comes first. The team spirit is the most important thing here. The participants perform all exercises under the close supervision of instructors. By the way, this one is one of the hardest of them. It's difficult, but the fighters don't give up. With each task, teams practice and show their physical strength, teamwork, and their mental abilities, such as logical thinking, to perform any given task correctly and to perfection. Next comes several more reps in full equipment. And this is the shooting range. That's where the real excitement is. When they were done shooting, they went to see their marks. They feel that they performed quite well. There are 3 stages. The first stage is pistol target practice. The second one is assault rifle target practice. And the third one is a combination of both. For the first time, cadets from the Border Guard Service Academy took part in the competition. It was not easy for novices, but performed all exercises on par with pros. My team and I have great chances to put our best foot forward in physical training, marksmanship, and tactical training. The debutants are pleased. They even promise to come back next year as officers. The Dozor Detachment commander supports this idea. I hope that we will consider appointing graduates of the National Academy to hold primary officer positions in the detachment of the Dozor 10th Mobile Separate Border Guard Unit. But the most brutal test was waiting for the participants in the end. They ended up in a real quest. They helped a wounded man, threw grenades, and climbed an observation tower. They've even been to this secret room. They had to pass through it in almost complete darkness, but the participants still managed to find the code word in the thick smoke. Representatives of the United States Embassy in Ukraine observed the competitions very attentively. They say that cooperation with Ukrainian border guards is fruitful and the level of this year's tournament is truly impressive.
I have been very impressed with this competition and seeing how the Dozor and other teams have participated, have excelled. These kind of competitions in Ukraine and US and the rest of the world are key to motivation for officers as well as enhancing their skills.
It is planned to involve the National Police and National Guard Special Forces in the competitions next year. So border guards keep on training. The prestige of this tournament is improving. Recently, the Danilo Halitsky Airport in Lviv celebrated a very important event. This year, the airport was visited by its 2 millionth passenger. This is the first time that such a high indicator of visitors has been observed. The record was confirmed by the border guards who inspected the lucky person. However, it is unlikely that the hero of the day realized the importance of his mission. The name of the esteemed passenger is Solomon, who is only 4 months old. However, the toddler's parents, Samuel and Ilona Klassen, were apparently pleased with the attention and presence. The family living in Dortmund, Germany, flew to Ukraine for their friend's wedding. They were not expecting such a heartwarming reception. By the way, few people know that at the beginning of the 20th century, the Lviv Airport received only a few dozen passengers, and not just from airplanes, but also from dirigibles and hot air balloons. The airport where the terminal is now located was opened in 1929. Its predecessor in Levantivka appeared back in 1914 and looked like this. But time is relentless, and this year the Lviv Airport reports a 40% increase in passenger traffic, as the old Lion City is attracting more and more tourists every year. Border guards also have more work these days. They inspect about 6,000 to 7,000 people every day, and this is not the limit. The 3 millionth passenger is very soon the next in line. Coming up next, fast and reliable. Modern crossovers will help to prevent and curb criminal schemes at the border. Turkish transit. How a recidivist led his countrymen to Europe. Ukrainian borders are obstacles all along the way. There are mountains, swamps, and water reservoirs. But did that ever stop the bad guys? They appear suddenly, are all well-equipped, mobile, and cheeky faster than you can blink an eye. All the more they can't be caught with bare hands. Therefore, the Green Berets cannot do without reliable and effective vehicles. 114 brand-new patrol crossovers that will replace outdated models will greatly reduce the chances of impudent criminals committing a crime. This planned work is aimed at replacing old models with technically reliable, modern, and comfortable vehicles. Most of the vehicles were sent to the northeastern border, where Ukraine borders with the aggressor country. Another fairly large batch was sent to the western border. The maritime area received the least of them, which is understandable. These models were chosen for a reason. Positive feedback from the border guard service staff who use such vehicles daily was the main criterion in the selection process. Besides, these iron horses were quite well upgraded. The cars are equipped with modern mechanical and electronic technologies. So, gentlemen smugglers, be afraid and on the watch. Alarm messages are being received from many countries around the world. Crises, wars, ruthless elements, thousands of disadvantaged people are today fleeing from poverty and often illegally. Many travelers end up at Ukrainian borders. Most of them are heading for Western Europe. We can understand people from troubled regions, but why migrant workers from such a wealthy country as Turkey? Maybe these people are not aware that their country is the most successful in the region and its economy is on the rise? Turkey is also a NATO member. Just look at this power and majesty. But no, it's not good enough. Let's go to Europe instead. Since the beginning of this year, border guards detained almost 200 immigrants from this country at the western borders alone. These illegal trips are often organized by the compatriots of the migrants. These Turkish citizens and their countryman curator were detained by border guards in the Odessa Oblast. They all came here through Moldova and planned to travel further to EU countries. The enterprising Turk took $5,000 from each of his wards. The service package included the production of fake IDs and escorting, and that is how he was caught and detained. You can see the result with your own eyes. Here's an interesting fact. The foreigner was already detained in Ukraine in October. At that time, he was convicted for organizing illegal trafficking of people across the border and was soon deported to his native country with a 3-year ban to enter Ukraine. That didn't work. Not even a month had passed when he returned to continue his work. It was a bad move on his part. While the investigation is ongoing, the perpetrator was taken into custody on bail of 5 million hryvnias. He's facing 5 to 7 years in prison. The violators were banned from entering Ukraine for 5 years. So as the saying goes, farewell and have a safe trip.